Somebody was trying to steal somebody's list and use it and steal customers, and it was for an entrepreneur. And I just loved it. I went crazy with love. I could not stop writing and reading, and I argued it and I won. And when I won that case, it was my very first case. I was so excited because this guy's business got protected.
Welcome to the Business Ownership Podcast, brought to you by Awareness Strategies, helping you navigate the waters between entrepreneurship and ownership. Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedlick, and I'm super glad that you're here with us today because I have my most amazing guest, Courtney. Courtney, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me, Michelle. I'm really excited for this.
Nice. So give everyone the highlight of who you are and what you do for business.
So my name is Courtney Jared Bannan. I'm an attorney, but I'm an attorney who wants to help people not need attorneys. So that's my little unique spin. I love helping people build their businesses. I consider myself more of a legal architect than an attorney. I absolutely love business, and I really got my law degree so I could help people build their business and do it the right way and avoid all those regulatory concerns that people aren't even aware are out there most of the time.
I love it. So let's back up the bus completely. What made you decide to go into law? and then we'll go into this aspect of it.
The funny thing is, I never grew up wanting to be a lawyer. I was always a writer. And I was a health and science writer when my son was born, and I decided to stay home and be a stay-at-home mom. And he was such an easy baby. He was super boring. All he did was sleep, eat, and smile. So I started just kind of poking around, and I had a little legal issue with the person I was working with. So I started looking up laws, and I thought, wow, this stuff is actually fun to read. And I'm a big reader, as you can see. I'm like surrounded by books. And the more I read, the more I realized, wow, this is like good stuff to write about. I would love to write about the law. So I went to law school. While my son slept, I took all the entrance exams and wrote my statement, did my applications, old school style back then. It's a lot more work. And I got into law school while he was sleeping. And then right before my first semester started, I found out I was pregnant with my second child. But I went straight through full-time day student and had my daughter in the middle of my first year of law school and didn't miss a day of class.
Wow. I'm just going to say that itself is ultimately impressive, and kudos to you. I had baby brain, and within I'm pretty sure it was within weeks, but at least months of getting pregnant, it was like, okay, I'm useless or I'm not working anymore.
I had that too. It was tough.
Right. Nice. So when it comes to the entrepreneurial aspects of things, I think this is particularly fun because I love the entrepreneurial side of business. But what was it that attracted you to that?
You know, I got to do what I love. And when I started my own law firm, I started it because when I finally graduated, my kids were small, and all of the jobs that people were trying to, hire me for required me, they literally would tell me, be prepared to sleep in your office if I tell you to. We are going to have a very unpredictable schedule. You're going to work till 4 a.m. We're going to throw court cases at you at the last minute. And I was like, wow, I don't want to do that. Like, I look at these babies and they're so cute. So I started my own law firm right out of law school with absolutely zero experience as an attorney. And I had really good mentors, and my professors helped me. And I took small cases that I knew I could handle, and I built up to it. And then I finally got this one case, and I was a little out of my expertise, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get a well-known lawyer to help me. So I asked a lawyer friend of mine, I really want to try this case. Can you please help me? And it was called tortious interference, meaning somebody was trying to steal somebody's list and use it and steal customers. And it was for an entrepreneur. And I just loved it. I went crazy with love. I could not stop writing and reading, and I argued it and I won. And when I won that case, it was my very first case. I was so excited because this guy's business got protected. And I thought, you know what? I want to help people do what they love. I'm doing what I love. And you make people's dreams come true, as corny as that sounds, but who doesn't want to wake up every day and do something they love? I want to make people have that dream without doing things that they don't know are wrong, especially with advertising and social media campaigns. And even sweepstakes. Like in Florida, you do a sweepstakes, there's a whole process to it. People don't even know about that. They're just throwing stuff up on social media. And I just absolutely love what I do. I can't imagine doing anything else.
I love it. So fast forward to today, who would you say is the majority of your clientele or the ones that you love the most?
All entrepreneurs. I only work with entrepreneurs, and
Mhm.
that doesn't mean just people who are just starting out. There are serial entrepreneurs who are starting their third, fourth, fifth company when they want to
28th.
move into a different industry. Exactly. Then when they want to move into a different industry or add a vertical to their existing empire, I really love that too, because I'm helping them and guiding them through all this regulatory muck. And there's so much of it people don't even realize, like right down to how you have to have a checkbox for an opt-in in a text message or a voicemail or a voice drop, whatever. So those are the things that I love to do. And but everybody I work with is a business owner or an entrepreneur.
Nice. So when they're coming to you, what most often are the reasons for coming to you, and then why do they stay with you?
I'm really excited that the reason most of them come to me now is to help them build before they start. So I help them build a solid foundation instead of a house of cards. And they come back because number one, I'm easy to talk to. I give them straight up what's going on. I can work through, and my number one superpower, and anybody that knows me will tell you this, is I can break down really large, complex issues into little tiny digestible counterparts. So it's easy to feed people like, hey, this is a really big framework that you have, but let's take it one part at a time. Let's start here first. And while this is cooking, we're gonna, add the salt over here. And while the salt is that, so it's really like you're being an architect. You are building in the right sequence and in the right order. So you are saving time. I'm all about efficiency. And also, I charge flat fee. So I charge by the project. So you always know what you're getting up front. And the thing is, with billing, especially with attorneys, when you go to a big law firm, they're
Mhm.
great if you need the big name behind you for litigation. But when you're doing small projects and you just need a quick something for compliance purposes, you don't really want to keep going to the big law firm because they're all about billable hours. So I think people come back because they know what to expect, and I'm easy to get in touch with.
Love it. What are some of the kind of current situations that you're dealing with a lot that you've noticed?
Well, usually it's social media compliance. I get a lot of people who are getting, bitten, not just from regulatory bodies, but also from people. Well, hey, you said you guaranteed this, you guaranteed that. So I teach people how to use the word guarantee correctly. You can't guarantee that they're going to get a result, but you can guarantee that you'll give the money back if they don't get the result. So I tweak things for them. And I would say that's probably one of my number one things. And then, of course, when people don't have things go the way they want and they get sued, I represent them because I also do litigation, and I'm barred in 4 states and soon to be barred in Canada and the UK.
Nice. And when an attorney says that, it's a good thing.
Yes.
Anybody else says it doesn't sound so good. That's awesome. So when it comes to your cases, is there anything that was kind of very left field but kind of fun or interesting? It was just like, I didn't see that one coming.
As far as the cases that I get,
Yeah. Anything at all.
yeah, I've actually had some pretty interesting ones. I have to say, I don't know if I can even really say because it's confidential and you would
Okay.
probably know who it was. But there's been some interesting things, and mostly that has come around people not making written contracts.
Yeah.
So I had one that was pretty wild because they were both saying the same thing, but to them it meant something completely different, but they were actually agreeing on what happened. So I actually created an app called Describe, and that's going to be coming out soon. And it memorializes a conversation using, and I actually did this before AI got really big. This is before chat came out. But it memorializes conversations and it transcribes it, and then you get the transcription, and that goes into the front part of the contract with all the boilerplate stuff. So people can actually just take it's like a FaceTime call. You talk, you say what you want to say, it transcribes it, you check a few boxes, sign it on your smartphone, and you're done. So that interesting case that I did involved two mega wealthy people, and that is where I came up with the idea for Describe. But that case, I litigated it for close to 4 years, and I did like a whole wall of paper of conspiracy theories that they both had against each other. And I taped together 11 by 17 paper and wrote down every email, like one of the emails came down to 2 seconds of when the person was communicating with the other. And I ended up winning it. They dismissed everything. But that case was that was like an out of left field case. I loved it. I love litigation too.
I love it. It's like an accountant saying, I love going through your books.
Yes.
You go, girl. You do that.
Yeah, you go right ahead.
So I find it particularly interesting. The one is, we mentioned earlier, the house of cards, setting up your businesses and your entities properly. And that the states are so litigious that almost every industry has a certain set of legal, I don't want to call them ramifications, but they kind of are, as to how you run that business, whether you're running a plumbing business or a legal firm or a hair salon. Like, there's a whole ton of different rules and regulations that tend to go along with them as far as what you need to have in place. Is there an industry in particular that you've noticed is completely unaware of what they have to do before they go into business, or is it every entrepreneur that should go talk to you first?
It's most entrepreneurs, but I would say influencers. So influencers are a really underrated group of entrepreneurs. They, people just think of this, person in their house selling products and posting stuff, but actually they're running some multi-million-dollar businesses, and people don't really regard it like that. And they don't understand either about taxes and e-commerce and nexus with state, marketing affiliate disclaimers. If you're, promoting a product, you have to disclose that when you're selling the product. So I think that industry is really now coming up and understanding that they aren't just a person who's an influencer, like, I'm cute, here's the cream I use to make everything look perfect. It's not just about that anymore. It's an actual business, and it is generating so much revenue. So I think that's the one you're going to see a lot of things coming out for.
Oh yeah, and Amazon particularly is setting up their systems, if you will, and their platforms to be able to encourage people to do this even more than they have been, which I find phenomenal. Sitting back and watching, like, the whole Instagram era to me was like, what just happened?
I know.
So I can't imagine that it's going to go even next level after this. But I do find it interesting. And talk to me about kind of marketing, because once upon a time there was kind of rules of marketing. You couldn't just say, I use this cream and that's why I look like I'm, 20 years old. And it's like, dude, you are 20 years old. That's why you look 20 years old. Are there rules and regulations about what you can say, what you can't say, how it's done? And at what point is it just the consumer kind of calls it after a while, or what happens?
So this is kind of interesting. I'm glad you asked this question. This is one of my passions. The Federal Trade Commission in the US has very specific rules for specific industries. So if you say something and you're making a claim, let's say, oh, my weight loss, this weight loss medicine, you take this pill, you're going to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks. Then you're going to see a little disclaimer at the bottom, results not typical. Individual results may vary. But the truth is, they have to have data to substantiate those claims. So that's one area. And then you have other areas, any financial products. So not only are these people governed by the Federal Trade Commission and sometimes the Federal Communications Commission for all the things that they're saying, but then they're also governed by their own regulatory bodies. So if you're selling financial products, you're going to have to deal with FINRA. If you're selling any type of mobile phone or cell phone or that type of equipment, you're going to have to go through the Federal Communications Commission. So there are all sorts of regulatory bodies on top of the Federal Trade Commission. So people have to be aware. And I have a book coming out April 2nd called Ready, Set, Launch. And it's called The Essential Playbook for Entrepreneurs. And in there, I actually make people write down, what are you selling? Now Google that. What industries are popping up? Who regulates you? You have to know what you're getting into. So I teach people kind of how to help themselves in this book for that reason. But the Federal Trade Commission has a really good website. And on that website, you can go by industry, and they have all these different guides that teach you what you can say, what you can't say. And it's probably one of the most underutilized websites by entrepreneurs, because you go on there, they actually tell you how to stay out of trouble. Now, let's say that you're making all these guarantees and you're making all these problems. They're not going to, they're not on Instagram looking all day for somebody making a false claim. It all comes down to consumer complaints. So if you tick off one person, they're going to make a complaint. Probably nothing's going to happen. But after a while, people start really, really, really seeing that they're getting ripped off. They're not getting their product. It didn't do what it said it was going to do. Then the Federal Trade Commission is going to come in, and they do not mess around. They're not going to ask any questions. They're just going to shut you down. They're going to freeze everything. You can't even call your customers and tell them, hey, that webinar that we have scheduled, in Calgary for May 1st, that's not happening. So people will show up in a lot of ways, and forgive me for saying this, the Federal Trade Commission causes more harm when they do that, because there are consumers who you can't contact. And, I watched this happen with a few regulatory bodies. But if people just read the latest cases, they'll understand about, when you're implying something. If I'm standing in front of a Lamborghini and I'm telling everybody, look at my successful life because I've been selling this product and look at me, and that's not my Lamborghini, I can get in trouble for that. So you have to be super careful. And there are so many pitfalls that entrepreneurs don't even know are out there.
And when it comes to, I'm gonna guess that when it comes to AI, there's a whole new set of conundrums and the issues that are going on in there. In your opinion, has the legal system kind of caught up to AI? Are they still struggling to figure out what it does and how it's going to influence things? Where do you think they're at with that?
I think most of the legal system has not yet even begun to understand or acknowledge that there's a such thing as AI. For the most part, it's kind of a, I don't want to say backwards, but it is a backwards industry, because you have a predominantly large group of attorneys who grew up using, pens and paper, such as myself. So they don't even really understand what that is yet. I know attorneys who can't send emails. They're still using fax machines. They're not even aware that this stuff exists. So all the younger attorneys who are now coming into their licensing, they don't have the experience, but they have the knowledge. So we're really got a little niche market there for people like me who are super techie, love technology, and I'm really into it. I love AI. It has changed my life in so many ways, but I'm also aware of the pitfalls and the troubles that it can cause.
Nice. When it comes to legal IP and AI, how do you see those two fitting together?
That's going to be difficult. So we're going to have a slippery slope here with this, because people are creating things that are very similar and they're using AI. So who's really creating it? If I create something using AI, like an image, for example, and then I start using it, and then, way across the other side of the country, somebody's created the same image and it's almost the same for their business. They're claiming that I've stolen their IP. But it's not really their IP unless they have registered it, gotten a trademark for it, or copyrighted it, whatever it is, if it's a logo or an image. But it's going to cause a lot of problems, because there really are no new concepts or ideas. So when you say something to AI, create a book cover that has a blue rocket smoke coming out of this rocket that you only see the tail end of, and it creates a book cover, I'm not the only one having that idea for a launch book. So somebody else could be doing the same thing. So it's really going to be who gets there first, who registers the copyright or the trademark first, and who's using it in their marketplace. But it is creating a lot of problems for copyright and photos.
Well, and I can only imagine so, because I'm not sure kind of where they're scraping their data from, and whether or not, the producers of said information have put it out there for the purpose of somebody else using it. Because I'm pretty sure that with the way it goes right now, somebody could take our voices and use it for AI and we wouldn't know. I don't know if I've given them permission. Just because it's in the public domain, does that mean that it's an open source? How does that all go down?
Not necessarily. I mean, if you're a public figure and someone takes it and they're using it for something artistic, they can probably get away with it. If you're using anything commercially to try to make money from it, now that's a different story. So it's all going to go down to usage, where they got it from. If it's a private person, really can't use it, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to do something artistic with it. But what's their intent for it? Are they going to try to harm that person? Are they using it to bully them? Are they using it to cause problems? Are they using it to commercialize? So it all goes down to really what the intent is for the use, and if it falls in any of those exceptions.
You're going to be a busy girl. See that one coming. Awesome. Right. We are in a moment. I'm going to ask you about a Cinderella story of one of your clients. But before we do that, we're going to go for a break.
Are you running a business over 7 figures but still struggling with technology headaches? Pay attention, you do not want to miss this offer. This podcast episode is brought to you by Awareness Strategies, who is offering a custom-built digital adoption roadmap for anyone running a business over 7 figures who's wanting to grow their business in the next 5 years. And it's not just a roadmap, they offer full implementation as well if that scares the out of you. Check out awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap for more details today. The link's in the show's notes. Don't regret not doing this. Do it now. That's awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap.
I am super excited to hear a Cinderella story of one of your clients.
Oh, I had this client and I loved him and his beautiful family. Always struggling, started so many different businesses and always got into trouble, especially regulatory trouble. He had a used car lot at one point and got into some really bad issues with VIN numbers. And I was defending him in this litigation case and it just got ugly. It was so bad. And he got into so much debt just defending this case, including me. Like I was sitting in depositions for 9-10 hours a day for a whole week. And when the case got really bad, it turned out it was like a little bit of a criminal issue for him. And he ended up going to jail for this for 6 months only. But I was heartbroken and I sent him my final invoice before he went to jail, just normal course of business. And it was substantial. I mean, it was substantial. Probably, picture what a lawyer is going to charge for a whole week of depositions, litigation. And I just got so heartbroken that one day I called him up and I said, listen, I'm forgiving your debt. I don't want any money from you. Like I'm going to cry. He was such a nice person. And I knew that I was stressing him out. So I said, I'm just going to one day, I want you to take the money that you owe me and I want you to start a real business. And I want you to come to me first, so I can help you build it the right way so you don't get into trouble again. And he said, okay, someday I will. So mind you, this is like 15 years ago. So I moved to a new building in Miami. This is like 5 years ago. And would you know, he was my neighbor. He was my neighbor and he helped me move all my stuff in. I couldn't believe it. And he said, my family loves you so much. And actually, we're about to start a business and I was going to call you and I can't believe you showed up here, but I'm getting into the cannabis industry. And I was like, oh, Lord, talk about regulations.
Dude.
So I helped him set up and he started with one tiny little kiosk in the mall selling like CBD stuff. Yep. And then he started out with going into the cannabis with the medical license in the stores. And now he owns a multi-million empire.
Nice.
And not only did he pay me back, he sends me business and we are friends for life. And he did use the same amount of money that he owed me to start this business. And then he still paid me and then paid me to help him again. And he is just one of my most treasured clients. So that's a real Cinderella story.
That is adorable. Well, and it's also a testament to when you set up your business right, you actually make money. It's the craziest thing. I know it's really hard for some people to believe, but when you set it up right, you actually put yourself in a better position to be able to make money and systemize. And
absolutely. And I always I tell my clients, like they come up with these huge ideas. I'm like, let's start small. Think of like in tech language, a minimal viable product. Like what is the smallest thing you can start with? Because you can always add. And let's do it right. Let's do this. And it just makes so much more sense for entrepreneurs.
Right. So talk to me more about your book and the concepts that you go through there, because I'm sure that there's, just going through that for a lot of entrepreneurs, they've got these great ideas, but they don't really have a business savvy. And they are two very different things.
Yeah, they are. And this book is half legal, half business savvy, and half like inspirational, because I'm all about mindset and mindfulness. I love to do things the right way, compassionately. So the book actually starts with mindset. So it's called Ready, Set, Launch. So ready, are you ready? Let's get you ready. Where's your head at? Do you even know what type of work style you have? So I go through like personality tests and all these fun exercises for people to do so they get to know themselves. If you don't know yourself, you're not going to do business the proper way. You got to work on your strengths, understand your weaknesses. The next part set is your idea even really worthy of you spending any money on it? I've had people come to me with ideas and I'm like, wah, 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 like that is just not a great idea. So I teach people how to evaluate their idea, how to look and see who else is doing it. How are they doing it? Is yours any different? Are you going to have competition? And then the next part really dives into how do you fund it? What kind of capital do you need? Are you going to bootstrap? Do you need merchant cash advance? If you're in cannabis industry, that might be your only option. And then after that, I talk about marketing, affiliates, e-commerce, taxation, how to hire employees, federal trade commissions, social media compliance, why you should have a business coach or a business mentor, like just the whole thing start to finish, right up to the exit. Now you're going to sell this baby, because that's really what this is all about. How are you going to make that big exit money? And each chapter has either a checklist, a compliance snapshot. I have charts. I teach people how to evaluate a contract, how to review one that you got for yourself or one that you're going to send to somebody. Just things that they can do and teach themselves on their own. Basic business terms, basic legal terms, concepts, and it's all in plain language. I think it's funny because, I wrote it and I tried to be a little humorous. So it's very easy to read and easy to understand.
It sounds incredible as a resource for business owners. So I know our peeps are going to want more of it. How did they get a hold of the book and how did they start the journey with you?
So they can get it on Barnes and Noble. They can get it on Amazon. It's available in Kindle and it will be available in Audible. And also on my website, www.courtneyjaredbannan.com. There's a landing page and there's my book and you can order it. And my website has tons of free content for entrepreneurs also, because I love to teach people.
We'll of course have all of Courtney's links in the show notes. So go ahead and scroll down, click on the link, open up in a new browser because we're not done yet. So you went over the story of how you started your own firm, but I want to ask you, at what point in life did you know you're especially kind of crazy enough to think that you could become an entrepreneur? Was it at that moment or did you have inklings otherwise?
No, I had inklings otherwise. It's funny. I went to work for my biggest client, who was a very eccentric hedge fund owner. He was in his 80s, but came to work every day in a 3-piece suit, jet black hair. He was the sweetest, cutest guy in the world. Like, I love this guy. Had pictures with every dignitary known to mankind on the wall. He was typical Upper East Side Manhattan guy who had a lot of money and wanted to do like venture capitalist stuff with it. And he was my client. I went to work for him full time. And then when that started kind of going downhill, because lots of reasons that had nothing to do with me, just some industry regulatory issues, because they didn't start with me, they brought me in after. So I got an influencer. I started working for another influencer who's pretty big. He's still pretty big right now. And I worked there for 5.5 years and I was surrounded by entrepreneurs. And because that's, just what people are doing when they go to these conferences, it's mostly entrepreneurs and business owners. And I was so just excited to be around that type of environment. And I'm like, I've always been an entrepreneur. I had my own firm for many, many years. I loved it. And I loved working there. It was great. But like that spirit inside of me just could not be held down any further. So I just flew the coop again. And I'm like myself again. I'm so happy.
I love it. Well, we're all very happy that you decided to take that leap.
Thank you.
So you've been absolutely awesome. Any last words for our peeps?
No, just stay strong and follow your dreams and make sure that you have people behind you who can help you make sure that you're doing everything the way it needs to be done so that dream can continue, prosper, and thrive.
I love it. Thank you so much for your time, Courtney. I appreciate it. And I know how valuable it is.
Thank you, Michelle. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Peeps, this is Michelle Nedelec. Thank you for being here with us today. Be sure to subscribe to the show and share it with your friends. We love helping entrepreneurs grow.
Are you running a business over 7 figures but still struggling with technology headaches? Pay attention, you do not want to miss this offer. This podcast episode is brought to you by Awareness Strategies, who is offering a custom-built digital adoption roadmap for anyone running a business over 7 figures who's wanting to grow their business in the next 5 years. And it's not just a roadmap, they offer full implementation as well if that scares the out of you. Check out awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap for more details today. The link's in the show's notes. Don't regret not doing this. Do it now. That's awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap.